Don't stop.
Hi, welcome to the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. I have been wearing a hat the last few intros that I've been doing, and I'm wondering, I don't know, I feel like I have a peanut head. I don't know, if you're watching this on video, I used to just do my podcast audio, and it was just so much easier because you could be in your pajamas or you could be like wearing a t-shirt and just underwear and just kind of do your podcast and it didn't matter. And then it went into video, and then you have to kind of dress up a little bit. I mean, not like totally, because I'm not dressed up, but my hair, if you've seen my hair under this hat right now, you would be like, what happened? Did somebody mug you in a bush? Because my hair needs to be brushed. Andrew always says, you need a hot comb in your hair. That's what he tells me. And today I need a hot comb because my hair is all over the place. So yeah, that's kind of what I was just getting. I woke up, it's Sunday morning, and woke up and got myself, I have a long list. I don't know if you do this, but I do this. I have notes, the notes app in my iPhone, and I make a constant list of things I need to do. And I feel like every time I take something off my list, it gets longer. And I was away this past week on business on the West Coast, and all the things that I would normally maybe do after work didn't get done this week. So now my list for the weekend is like 5 times longer than it should be. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get through my list today. I'm trying to do intros for my podcast. I got a news podcast I need to record. Listen Up Girls, my news podcast. So if you haven't listened, go listen to it. It's on all your favorite podcast platforms. And what else do I have left to do today? I have to fix the toilet on the second floor because it's running. And so I have to change something in there, and I've never done it before, but I'm going to YouTube it, and I bought the parts, and I think we're going to get that done. And then I have 1,000 plants that are in my house, and I have to go through and water them. And that takes about an hour. I don't know how I have accumulated so many plants. And I have plants in this little studio, as you can see behind me, and there's other ones that you don't see. And so, yeah, I got obsessed with plants, but there could be worse things. And that's what my Sunday is I need to mow. And also, it's, as I'm recording this, it's September 28th, the intro. So who knows when you'll hear this episode. You'll probably hear it in October, November, probably November. But I thought I was done mowing my yard, and I'm not. When I got home from this business trip, I have to mow the yard again. And I'm so sick of doing it. So I will do that one more time, and then hopefully that will be it for the fall and winter, and I'll do it again next spring because I'm sick of mowing the yard. And it's hot. It's September 28th, and it's like 80 degrees out. That's not normal for Boston. So, but here we are. This week when I was away on business, I was doing some video work with this guy, Scott, that I know. I've known him for, I guess, well over a decade now. And I bring him and his crew with me everywhere I go to do videos for my corporate job. And I'll give them a plug. It's Animus Studios is the name. And Scott Beer, he does kind of some freelance stuff, and he's working on some documentaries, but he's a really great guy. And I told him about my podcast whenever I started, I guess, almost 2 years ago at this point, and they were very supportive, and they gave me ideas. And Scott said, hey, I got a perfect guest for you. Your show's called Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. Well, I got somebody, or I know somebody that's a bit gay. And I said, all right, who? Let me know who it is. And he said, it is the Edwards twins. And I have not heard of the Edwards twins before. I don't know how I haven't, because they are fucking amazing. I looked them up when Scott told me about them. I'm like, oh, God, yes, they're perfect for my show. Um, I'll tell you a little bit about them. Basically, what they do is they are twin brothers and they're both gay. And you have to hear the whole story how one does not act on being gay because he's religious. And they're both good looking guys. I think I don't want to guess the wrong age, but I think they're in their late 50s, maybe early 60s. I forgot what they said, but they look great no matter what age they are. And they're twin brothers, and they went through their whole story with me about how they started performing. And what their act is that they dress up as different performers. So Cher or Elton John. I mean, they've done like major stars, and they don't lip sync. They actually perform and sing, and they are amazing. And my goal, either before the end of this year or sometime in the first half of next year, I got to look at their schedule where they're going to be performing at. But I have to see these guys perform live because they are so talented. And it is like talent. And I'm so thankful that Scott gave me their information. And it took a while to schedule because they are so busy. They have so many shows. And they are even talking about slowing down a bit. And I get it. Like, it's got to be exhausting, the number of shows that they have, that they do a year. But, I have to see them before they even think about retiring any further because they're that good. Their story is so interesting. We kind of talk about how they were kids and, just going through the performance, learning to do this, and kind of how they started their career. I don't think they ever thought they would be this big, but they're big. And I was so honored to have these two guys. And the other thing is that they're so nice. They're so genuinely nice guys. And when I was with Scott this past week in the West Coast, I was telling him just like how great they were and how thankful I was that I had the opportunity to interview these two guys. And he's working on a documentary about them. And he has thousands or hundreds, or I'll say thousands of hours of footage of these two. And I cannot wait. Like a Netflix or a Hulu or an HBO Max is who I would see this going to. But God, somebody's got to pick this up because their story is amazing. And their talent is just like I could go on and on about their talent, but enjoy this episode because I love them. I'll have to say that I think it was Anthony's audio sounds great. So if you're listening to this, it's fantastic. If you're watching this on video, I don't, sometimes you get a guest and their Wi-Fi isn't great, but it's not like horrible, but there's times where it is not great, but you'll be able to hear the interview fine. Eddie's video was perfect and great, and you can still watch this and it's not going to be annoying, I promise. But if you find it annoying, then just listen to it on Apple or Spotify or iHeart or whatever. But they're fantastic, and I hope you enjoy the interview as much as I loved interviewing them because I am a true Edwards Twins fan now. Thanks for listening. Today, we have two amazing brothers that we are so excited to interview, and their name is the Edward Twins. So thank you so much, Anthony and Eddie, for joining our show.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us. We appreciate it.
So the way that I was introduced to them is that we have a mutual friend named Scott Beer, and Scott does a lot of video work for me, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this podcast and we need new guests. He's like, I have the perfect two people. You have to interview them. They're amazing. He's like, I love these guys. I love them. He wants to do a documentary with you guys. And every single time me and Scott have traveled together to many locations to do video stuff. And every single time he brings you up and he really loves you guys. He thinks you're the best people. And it's so nice that I got to interview you. So I feel honored that.
The feelings are mutual with Scott as well because we've had so much history with Scott. He has recorded probably like 1,000 hours of video on us. He followed us around for 14 years while being on the road. We love Scott. He's the best.
So what will you do with all that footage though? Will you do a documentary with it? Will you is it just for your own self? Like he wants to do something good. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, he had a meeting with Netflix and a few other people, and we were almost going to do it, and then of course COVID happened, so then it was postponed. But I really feel confident because we've had so many people reach out to us. But the great thing is the footage is there, so when it does happen, whoever plans on editing it and putting it together will have one of the most extraordinary documentaries on us. And it will end up just inspiring so many people, in terms of our career, what we had to do to be able to have what we have now. And it's just been by grace of people, love of people, people giving us breaks in the business and supporting us. When we first started, it was very difficult because no one would touch our show because it was a very difficult time because the whole thing they thought our show was different than what it actually is. And so
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, we started about 35 years ago, and at that time, for your listeners that maybe were not there, drag was looked upon, down upon.
Yeah.
There was a lot of prejudice with drag, and people just were not educated. They didn't understand, the whole thing. It's entertainment. And so it was very difficult to get accepted into a lot of the
Mhm.
mainstream. And this documentary really brings to light how we actually came into the mainstream of the entertainment industry, which was very backbreaking and very difficult for us to achieve.
And Eddie, did you ever, whenever you first started this, were you hesitant to go into this whole to start this with your brother, or is this something like you're like, oh, I love doing this? I guess I want to. What I really want to ask is, how did you know how talented you were? Because you guys are not lip syncing; you were actually singing, which
Mhm.
is a whole nother level, and that is a talent that you have. And when did you both realize? At what age together did you realize how talented you were and that you should do this?
Well, we started doing this when we were 6 years old. Our
Okay.
mother would put us in front of the television set, and we had an uncanny ability of imitating the people that were on the TV, such as like Laugh-In,
Hmm.
the Carol Burnett Show, which we had a wide range of characters that we would love to do. And our mother thought we were possessed because we had all these voices coming out of us, you know. So, and then it kind of started as a game, never really knowing that we would ever be able to do this as a living. We just wanted to be able to just have fun. And so it kind of evolved in that. But being the fact that we could do a lot of these voices that were on the TV, then after that, we got into the makeup side of it and
Yeah.
started to teach ourselves how to make ourselves look like these people. Because, it's one thing to be able to sound like these people, but it's another thing to look like them. So, how it kind of started for me on the makeup side was when I was like 13 years old. A friend of mine took me to a drag show. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know what the word drag was, but
Yeah.
all I knew was like these guys were making them make themselves look like all these famous people, and I thought, oh my god, I would love to be able to see if I could do that. So I just, started to learn slowly. They started to teach me a little bit about makeup, and then I just kind of took the ball and ran with it. Next thing I knew, I had like 50 characters that I could make
Wow.
myself look like.
And Anthony, where did you kind of join in once he like came back from seeing these drag performers?
Yes. Well, the thing is, I have to be honest with you. I hate to be the bad guy, but I mean, history, has to be told for the truth. I was against it. I was against what he was doing because of my upbringing and because of the lifestyle and all that stuff at that time. And so I was, because I mean, I loved my brother and I didn't want him, getting involved in something that was going to destroy his
Okay.
life. Well, of course, the Lord, knocked me upside the head, finally, and, basically brought me through a period where I had to learn that it was not that and that it was bringing joy to people and so it was so all the people out there that are uneducated, I understand where they came from because I was
Yeah.
there and then but the thing is that then I went into, believe it or not, the same direction he did, where I was doing shows in drag and in Toronto because I was hired with a show that he was doing, and there I met Carol Burnett
Wow.
and became fast friends with her and Carrie, her daughter, and then Carol was the one that gave us our break because she's like, okay, hold it, wait, she's like, she convinced Eddie because Carol went to go see Eddie at La Cage in LA, which was at that point the number one female impersonating place in the world. And she thought it was me, and it wasn't. It was Eddie. And so she invited Eddie to do her the first episode of Carol and Company, and then convinced Eddie to be able to join with me to be able to put together the Edwards twins, and she was very instrumental in getting us started.
Yeah.
We became friends with one of the top makeup artists in Hollywood, Matthew Mungle,
Mhm.
who basically is a legend in Hollywood. And he started to make pieces for us. He started to make teeth for us. He started to be able to evolve us into an area that nobody else was doing at the time because I told Eddie if we were going to do this, I wanted to bring it up to the next level and I wanted to be able to do what like the mask magician did with
Oh,
magic is he exposed all the tricks so that the magicians had to go out and create new tricks instead of using the same thing. And at that time, the impersonation scene was okay, but it wasn't really where it's at now, And so, with makeup and wigs and costuming. So we really evolved that. In terms of bringing in three-dimensional movie makeup into the impersonation industry.
Makeup is very complicated, and especially back in the 80s when there was no such thing as YouTube, there was no way of even learning how to even do anything
hmm,
unless you literally had an imagination. And my imagination was my best friend. All I know is that I was determined to be able to look like these people. So I basically just kind of just studied a lot of books regarding makeup. There was a wonderful artist by the name of Kevin Aucoin. And so he had the first book out there that taught about shading and making things on your face that wasn't there, creating things on your face that wasn't there, making your nose slimmer, making your cheekbones higher, all that stuff. So I studied this book like it was a Bible. And then this other gentleman who was a dear friend of mine, he came out with a book. His name was Devin Cass, and
Made you look.
Made You Look.
What was it?
It
What
wasn't Made
was
You
that?
Look.
No.
It was on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, it became like the
Mm.
drag Bible, where, because what he did is he took regular people and he made them up to look like famous people. And so double take
Double take. Yep.
was what it was called. So I studied that a lot as well. And then, as time went on or whatever, I just got better and better and better. But it took me a long time to be able to really make it so that it was really good.
It's been a lot of work. And the first part of our career, when we were doing it, people didn't believe it was our voices. They thought that we hired people to be able to
Yeah.
sing. And I can understand that because there's times that I am looking at, very talented singers, and I'm like going, oh, come on, they're lip syncing. But
Yeah.
indeed, they're not. But it's so extraordinary that now, people understand that if they do work on it, they can accomplish anything with the right teaching and the right
But
drive.
it's not only that you're singing like them, you've got the mannerisms of them, you're looking like you have transformed yourself into them, which is a true art.
Yeah.
Like that is so amazing, like what you do.
What our gimmick is it is two identical twins. We're pretty much dealing with the same face,
Yeah.
but yet we're making ourselves look like all of these characters. And we want people to be brought back in time of when they were, growing up,
Yeah.
and the music was great and the concerts were great. The stars were, a lot more talented, I think, than they are now. They had a lot more to offer. And we bring you back in time. We make you believe that you're sitting in a concert of that particular person. Like, we're taking you back to the 80s and the 90s, when, Cher was performing in Las Vegas at the Mirage,
Mhm.
or Barbara was performing at the MGM in Las Vegas on the famous Las Vegas Strip, or Celine is opening up Caesar's Palace. We literally will take you back, and you will be literally mesmerized, thinking that you are experiencing them in concert once again.
And it really is a lost art because what's happened in our industry, and not that it's a bad thing, it's a wonderful thing, is that what RuPaul has done, with drag and brought it into a whole different other genre of talent. We do something entirely different. We are illusionists, where we actually, our gimmick is basically doing
Mhm.
characters and making you think that you're seeing something that's not really there, which is different than what the drag scene is now. And it's a lost talent. Nobody's doing
Yeah.
it, and we're trying to keep it as alive for as long as we can, before we have to retire. And thank God, it's so funny because my pastor 20 years ago, he said, you guys have got to build a brand. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you need to brand the Edwards twins. I'm like, why would we do that? We're just impersonators. And he's like, no, what you guys do is entirely
Mhm.
different. And if you build on the Edwards twins brand, it's going to last a lot longer. Well, he was absolutely right. We hired, some of the best advertising agencies and people in the world. And now, we have a brand name, which I never understood. But the brand name is quality, and that when people come to see us, the show is different every year. We do different characters. It's not the same show every year. It's different. And like this year, we're doing characters that we've never done ever. So it brings people back, over and over and over again.
What's some of the characters you're doing though? I would love to know who, because
Okay.
I want to know. I want the inside scoop of
Yeah.
who's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that I was told by so many of my fans, we love what you do. We love your characters, but you don't have any country at all.
Okay.
So at that time, Eddie decided to do Dolly Parton. And I went back and I looked to see who really was an extraordinary person in country that everybody would knew, that you would show their face and everybody would
Yeah.
knew it. And I came up, believe it or not, with Willie Nelson,
Oh, yeah.
because Willie Nelson wrote so many songs for so many people. And I mean, he started out when Patsy
Yeah.
Cline was no one, and he's written so much. And he is one of the very few artists that have been on tour for what, 50 years, 60
Yeah.
years or
I've seen him
more?
and he's amazing.
Great. And yeah, thank you. And so, and everybody knows his music and everybody loves it. And he's an international name. So that's one. Another one that I did a while back, but I never did a set of him. I just did him in the vocal impression set, was Roy Orbison.
Oh,
Because Roy Orbison, you know, if you remember, I think in the 80s, he did a concert called Black and White, and all of the kids is what introduced that concert, introduced him. And everybody that comes to our shows, they're really for some reason into the 60s and 70s now. And so I wanted to add a character that was 60s and 70s, and everybody knows his music. I'm also doing Paul McCartney,
wow.
which is new. I'm doing a lot of new stuff, and I'm doing some new songs for Andrea Bocelli
Oh,
that I've never done. You know, Andrea's huge. Okay, I mean, it's like his tickets are a minimum of 500, $600 sold out everywhere. And it's so funny because I'm speaking to, because in my other job I do, which we'll get to it if we have time, I produce superstars for Comic Cons, like, you know, Michael J. Fox, Christopher
mhm.
Lloyd, you know, all the really big names. So everybody has been telling me that they've wanted, you know, to see us do these characters. I was just with the cast of Cobra Kai, which is a huge series, and all of the kids were they were all Andrea Bocelli
Yeah.
fans, which literally blew me away. I mean, these young kids are Andre Bocelli fans, so I thought, wow. And of course, and then he, of course, I think his song that he did with Ed Sheeran, I think was the one that
Yeah.
really broke that in. I'll tell you an interesting story. So before I started doing Andrea Bocelli, I told a friend of ours, we're like, you have to learn the prayer from Andrea Bocelli and Celine Dion. So I thought, well, you know, with my opera training, I think I could probably pull off Bocelli. And then I went to Eddie and said, you have to learn, you know, the prayer. You could do it as Barbra Streisand. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, Eddie, this is going to be a showstopper. He's like, no. So he wouldn't do it, and then a couple of years went by, and we revisited again, and he still wouldn't do it. Finally, I don't know who convinced him to do it, but he's like, I'll try it for one night. If it works, it's fine. If not, we're going to ditch it. Well, it's been the highlight
Wow.
of the show ever since, and it's given me a chance to extend the Bocelli set, and now that's what people talk about when they leave the show.
So the reason why that I didn't want to do it is because Celine sings in Italian.
Hmm.
Now I can barely speak English, so you know, so for me to be able to sing as Celine is one thing. To be able to literally do another language, you know, and sing completely different because Anthony's the opera singer. I'm not the opera singer. I have not had any opera training at all. But, you know, all I did was I am a extraordinary copycat. That's what I mean, that is what I do.
Yeah.
All I did was just copy her. I copied her verbatim on what it was that she did regarding. I didn't know what it was I was singing. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know if I was getting the pronunciation properly, but I just copied her. So I figured, okay, if I copy her and I'm really good at doing that, then I could probably do it and it would go over. The funny thing, Anthony didn't tell you this, but the funny thing about that particular is the first night that we did that with Andre Bocelli and Celine Dion was in Montreal. Her family was in the audience that
Wow.
particular night. And so what happened was her family called her. She got a hold of my the manager. This was the first time I ever did Celine. Celine invited me to spend a week with her in Las Vegas
Wow.
and to teach me all the moves and to teach me the, the way she hits her chest and all this stuff and everything. So, even though I didn't want to do it, it turned out to be really good, and it allowed me to be able to meet Celine and become friends with her and hang out with her.
And another thing that Eddie's not telling you is that after the week, her manager called Eddie and said, Celine wanted you to know that she's now your biggest fan,
Yeah.
which
Wow.
is
Yeah, that
unbelievable.
was
It
that was a
doesn't get
quote.
any better than
Yeah.
that.
And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. So you've met a lot of people that you have performed as. Who is the most kind of grateful of the people that you've met? Because you've done so many performances and you've met so many of these stars. Who do you think really like appreciated it the most?
For me, I would have to say probably Celine Dion and Cher.
Cher. Okay.
Celine Dion and Cher.
Yeah.
I opened for Cher here in Las Vegas,
Wow.
and yeah, and she was just nothing but complimentary. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is our Uncle Jack was the announcer on the Sonny and Cher show, the one who said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny and Cher." That was our Uncle Jack.
It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
And it's full circle. But I got to be honest with you. Even Barbra Streisand was so warm and very complimentary, and her entire staff, including Marty, her manager, and Richard J. Alexander, her producer. I mean, they're huge fans of ours. They've been to the shows. We're very lucky because there's not been one star that has ever said that they didn't like what it is that we did, or they, weren't very complimentary to what it is that we do. Because again, we don't do anything to mock them.
Yeah.
We do them exactly the way that they are on
I
stage.
don't know if I'd call it luck. I think I'd call it talent. That's what I think it is. You guys, it's an
Yeah.
amazing talent that you both have. That's really what
Yeah.
it boils down to.
Thank you.
We're each other's critic, and usually 9 times out of 10, if I like what he's doing or if he likes what I'm doing, then it pretty much is
Yeah.
it's perfect, in our eyes.
Yeah, we really um, are each other's eyes, and the thing is, I'm able to see stuff that he's not able to see, and he's able to see stuff that I'm not able to see. So it really is a perfect situation. And then what will happen is if we have a friend, probably one of our best friends, Fran, and when we first start doing this, she's with us in the Massachusetts, Rhode Island area, and she will come to Eddie and I, and she will point out things that we have overlooked. So it will give us a chance to correct
That's
them
awesome.
before the tour goes on.
And
Yeah.
Anthony, Celine was Eddie's kind of who was the person that you met that you really like loved?
So this is going to be a bit controversial for the young
Okay.
people, but the thing is that when I tell the story, they'll certainly understand. So when I was over in the Bahamas, a lot of the African Americans over there were a little upset because there were no African Americans in the show. So the president of the musicians union came to me and expressed to me, and I'm like, well, now hold it. I don't understand this because if I did an African American character, wouldn't that be something that people would take offense to? And they're like, absolutely not, not here. They said the thing is that it because it's you guys.
You're paying tribute.
Yeah, you're performing.
Yeah, exactly right. So I did Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder, and literally the island went ballistic. I was the
Awesome.
toast of the island. Well, then again, you have to realize this was a time of Saturday Night Live where you had all of the people do, African
Yeah,
Americans. It was fine
yeah.
back then. So I came back. I did Lionel Richie. Well, he heard about it and invited me to his show
Wow.
in Vegas when he first opened up in Vegas. And when I tell you, oh my God, he was so gracious. And he spent so much time with me, and I'll never forget it because Lionel is nothing but love. And he invited his entire staff over and introduced me. So that to me was amazing. Now, of course, I can't do those characters
Yeah.
now, but
It's a different world. It's a different world.
it's a different world. But you know what? I stopped doing them because you know what? I didn't, even though at that time both Lionel and Stevie Wonder were very upset with me because they're like, you should have stuck to your guns. And I told them I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I don't want to
Yeah.
upset people. It's about joy. It's not about conflict. And so I stopped doing them, which cut out a lot of my characters because I did Stevie Wonder, I did Ray Charles, I did Lionel Richie, yeah, all the greats. And I was working on Tina Turner and Diana
Oh,
Ross. And
Tina
then,
Turner would be so good. What about Madonna? Have you tried her?
Yeah, I have done Madonna before when I was in Aruba. But this is the problem with Madonna. Madonna is a great dancer. I can't dance.
Okay.
I can't dance. So that's one of the reasons why that, I mean, I could definitely look like her because I have her features. Problem is that I just can't dance.
Okay.
And the ones that are out there that does Madonna, man, they can dance, they can dance. Listen, I do Gaga. I do Lady Gaga. And Lady Gaga can dance, but I do enough to where I can be able to, cheat and make it seem like I'm dancing, but I'm not really dancing
Yeah.
because I wear the big platform shoes like what she wears, and all that stuff and everything. But yeah, Madonna, she just really dances too much.
Yeah. And your Lady Gaga show was amazing.
That
oh, yeah.
that was in Singapore. We had like six of the best dancers in Europe. Yeah, we did that over at Universal in Singapore, and that was a huge production. That theater seated, I think, like 15,000 people. It was huge. Yeah, it was huge.
And so have you been all over the world?
We have been, yep,
Yeah,
yep. We
yeah,
we've been we've
yeah.
been very lucky. We have been able to take our talents all over the world, and many of the places I was able to live there. Like I lived in Aruba for 3 years. I lived in Japan for a year and a half. I was in China for 8 months. We were in the Bahamas, Anthony. What, for 4 years?
Yeah, yep, yep,
Four
yep.
years.
4 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was a really great, and we've been so blessed in terms of being able to have fans all over the world. The hard part is that we get emails on a weekly basis. When are you coming back? When are you coming back? When you come? And I just don't have the heart to say. We're not because we're going from 300 shows a year down to about 150 shows a year.
Yeah, but please don't retire yet. Please don't. You got to keep going.
Well,
I
you're going to have to convince him because he's on this kick about
no, you can't.
retiring.
Well, I mean, I've been able to have a 2 month break. So I've been able to really relax and, all that and everything. It's just that, we both of us turned 60 in February, of this last February. And even though we're still in really good shape, it's just that things just seem to take me longer to do than they did when I was in my 50s.
Yeah.
You know what? It's all a mind. It's all in your mind. And you just when you have a system and you live in hotels and you move from one place to another, that's all you know. You don't know about living a regular life. Coming home and cooking
Hmm.
dinner and all that stuff. It's what we've been. Another thing, when we were young, we were raised by a very strong military man that literally moved from one city to another. So it kind of prepared us to be able to, make roots wherever you are at the time.
And did he see your show ever?
No.
Never did. No, never did. Never did. Yet our real father did, and he was a huge fan.
Awesome.
Huge fan. Yeah,
My mom has seen our show numerous times. And so she's, of course, our
yeah.
biggest fan. Whenever she gets a chance to see us in Vegas, she's there with bells on.
That's awesome. So, have you guys? I kind of ask this for all of our guests that I think have inspiration, that they give inspiration and give joy to the world. But do you ever stop and take a moment ever to think about, out of all these shows that you've done and how much joy you've brought into people's life and how talented you are and you've been able to share that? Do you ever stop and ever think about that?
No,
You should.
no,
Never,
never.
never,
No,
never,
we
never,
really
never.
don't, because we're very, Anthony and I, anyone that knows us, we're very humbled people. We don't live extravagant lives. We don't live in $1 million homes. We don't drive rich cars and all that stuff. We focus on the present. We don't look at the past,
Mhm.
and we're too busy looking to the future and creating, that we don't give a lot of time looking back. I mean, so many people have stopped us and said, "You have no idea how much joy you bring to the
Yes, you
people
should
that come
stop.
see you,"
You
and all
take
this
that
stuff. I don't
in.
know. It's weird. I don't think many entertainers do that. I think it's just part of their process. And I know it's sad, but maybe when I'm old or whatever and I start going through photos and videos, I can say, wow, I really did have an amazing life and I really did bring a lot of joy to a
Yeah, I
lot
mean,
of
just think
people.
about all the people that come to see your show that could have been having a horrible day and they leave your show that happy.
Yeah,
And the
Yeah.
people that
yes,
you
yes.
are performing as, when they see your show, how proud they are of how
Mm,
much justice you did. I mean, you're so talented. And I think that you should really, once in a while, stop and just think like, I've given this many, probably millions of people this much joy. And
mhm.
it's important to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Well,
And
it is.
in
It is. Y-
I think that's one of the reasons why I maybe 1% of the shows that we've done, I don't go out because I love my fans so much. But I have this thing about being complimented. I don't take compliments. I love people complimenting me, but I get very
Oh,
embarrassed.
really?
I get very embarrassed, very overwhelmed, and so I just like people to. I want to know I'm doing a great job, and that's it. But I will say, when I get an email of that, it really brings me joy to know that I'm doing what I am supposed to be doing on this earth, and that is what brings me joy.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
one thing to be able to get emails or to be able to have people comment on posts, on our website or social media or whatever. We love all that because that makes us feel good.
Good.
But when we're one on one with other people, whatever, and they're kind of, throwing us compliments or whatever, we do have a very hard time taking that in just because we're perfectionists and we always are looking at the point where, well, it could have been a little better, But I think anyone who's a perfectionist, just like
Mhm.
Barbra Streisand, I've studied a lot of Barbra Streisand's interviews, and she's very much like that. She's never happy with anything that she does, and I think a lot of other entertainers are like that too.
I will tell you a story. We were very blessed to be able to hang out and be with Don Rickles.
Oh, wow. What a legend.
What a legend. And when I tell you, he was entirely different than what you see on stage. He was exactly what Eddie and I just
Very
described. He
insecure,
was very,
very
Really?
insecure.
very insecure, very insecure. He was putting himself down. Everything that we told him that we loved, he was like, he would say, no, no, that wasn't good, and all this stuff. And it was like speaking to somebody that's how humble he was. When they say he was Mr. Warmth, that described him. He was such of the most warmest, kindest person that you will ever meet, opposite of what you saw on
Yeah.
stage.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, and now back to the show. So you've met a lot of great people. Is there anybody that you would love to come to your show? Not necessarily that you've performed as them, but is there anybody that you would love to see your show that hasn't come yet?
I
Oh
I
boy.
would like Dolly Parton to come see the show because I honestly think that Dolly would love
I think she would too.
what Anthony and I done, and I've never met her at all. I do her, but I've never met her at all. But I honestly think she would absolutely love the show. Her and also Gaga. I think Gaga would go nuts over the show because she loves Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand is one of her favorite
Yeah.
artists of all times. And I think, being the fact that for me, I think Barbara's one of my strongest characters, the ones that I look and sound most like. And I think she would just get a huge, huge kick out of it.
I have to say, whenever I was texting you guys saying, "Oh, when can you do the show?" I love the response. "Oh, we're spending the weekend with Barbara Eden, so let me get back to you after that." I'm like, okay. I never thought I'd
Yes,
get a
yes,
text like
yes,
that from somebody saying they're hanging out with the
yeah,
Barbara
Yeah,
Eden.
right,
yeah.
exactly.
She
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Barbara.
yeah,
Barbara
yeah.
is the best. You talk
Oh,
about
oh my God.
love. I mean, when I tell you,
Yeah.
we have the most. I wish that we could tape the entire time that we're with her because the stories that she tells
Yeah,
of her career, you're just sitting there like,
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
amazed. She's
Uh,
got so
yeah.
many incredible
Uh,
stories. And
yeah.
she literally is. She's one of those people where her personality is exactly what Jeannie was.
yeah,
Exactly what Jeannie was. She is Jeannie. She really
yeah.
is.
And she's still so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's
Oh,
gorgeous.
Yeah,
she's
she's still
She's
gorgeous.
so
She's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I put on my
She,
Facebook a photo of her without any makeup, and it's like people just couldn't believe that she was 94 years old.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah,
94.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just absolutely amazing.
So you guys are twins. You've done this together for 35 years. Is that how long you've been doing it together for?
So I'm celebrating 43 years in the business. I started before my brother. I was a Las Vegas headliner here in Vegas. I started in 1985, 86 on the Las Vegas Strip. And then I had my own career. And then once Carol Burnett, had sat me down and kind of slapped me around and said, you and your brother need to go on the road together because, you're better together than
Yeah.
you are separate.
But you guys are twins. You're alike a lot of ways. How are you different?
Oh my God. Well,
Oh my
I
God.
mean, we're
Yeah. Well,
we are as
that's
much
what the
we are as much the same as we are different.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah,
think
and the documentary really brings that out a lot.
Yeah.
so. I'm openly gay,
Yep.
you know. However, I've never been in love and I've never had a boyfriend.
You haven't?
So no, never, because I've been doing this my entire life. I love my career, and I've always been the type of person where I've always wanted to put 100% of everything that I'm doing into one thing.
Okay.
So, and that's what my life has been, and I love this business so much. I've dedicated my entire life to this business. So, I've not allowed myself at all to fall in love or to have that other part of, because I could not be able I couldn't do both. My mind is just, it focuses like this. I have to be, like on
Interesting.
this and just on this or whatever. I can't have a lot of things disrupt me. Anthony runs the business side of it, because with me, I can't do that. It's not the way that my brain
Yeah.
works. I'm all about putting every bit of energy into making myself perfect when I'm on stage. I try to, I'm always looking really good. I always wear Versace or Louis Vuitton, whenever I go out, and I get complimented all the time and all this stuff. But it's all part of the business. It's all part of my image. It's what I want to do. And you know what? I figured, if for whatever reason, when I'm done doing this, if I still look good and I'm supposed to be in love, it'll happen.
Eddie, I could take you out one night and get you a boyfriend night one. I could get you in a minute.
Please, please, please do. I have a lot to offer someone.
I mean, listen, anybody that's watching this on YouTube or listening to this, Google Eddie Edwards, and if you're into him, DM me, and I will screen all these people for you. And if they pass the test with me, I will introduce you. And all I ask for is I get to make a speech at your wedding. That's all I
That's
ask for
very
if you get
funny.
married. But I feel like this is my mission: is to find you somebody.
But listen. I'm open to everything, but attached to nothing. So I mean, and listen, I can't say that I'll be single my entire life, but if it happens, it happens. That's just kind of the thing. But yeah, I mean, it's not like if I did have someone, I wouldn't know what to do. I would totally know what to do,
Yeah,
but it's just that I just have so much in life that I want to offer other people, because we love bringing joy to
yeah.
people. And when people leave our show, we get emails that they're just love letters, to us. And so it just makes you feel good, because you know that you're doing the right thing.
And Anthony, I have to ask you about your life. So, what about your love life?
I have been celibate my entire life. And Eddie explained a lot of of the history. I literally work 14 hours a day because I have this business, then I have my Comic-Con business,
Wow.
and then I have my eBay business where I sell a lot of autographs of the people I
Yeah.
meet, and all that stuff. So I have no time at all. And I have to be honest with you, it's kind of strange because I was thinking about this the other day. When you are called and put on this earth to do a
Mhm.
mission, it's like the thing is, that's all you can do because that's what makes you happy. What makes me happy is to bless others and to be able to share my talent, to be able to give back to people what God has blessed me with. And that's pretty much, what I live by or in what I try to live by. And I'm a perfectionist too. So everything has got to be perfect. And I can't be able to focus on anything else than what I believe I've been called to do because when I do, that's when I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And I've been that route and I'm not interested in doing it again. So as long as I have breath in me, I'll continue to bless and bring joy to people.
I love that. But you're a good-looking guy too, so if you ever do change your mind, let me know, and I'll be a matchmaker for you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, you're good-looking because you're twins, so
Thank you.
Well,
Amazing.
I wanna thank you for being on, and Scott is a huge, huge, huge loves you.
Oh, we love him more than
We
life.
we
We love
we love
him
him.
more than we owe him the
Yeah,
world.
we do.
We really do. I mean, when we didn't have hardly any money, he would do videos for us for almost next to
Wow,
nothing.
he's an amazing guy. We are going to look at your tour schedule, and we are going to see you live for sure, and
Good.
Good.
so we
Please
definitely
do.
will. Well, everybody should go and check out the website, theedwardtwins.com,
Yes.
and go see their show. Look at their videos on YouTube. If after you see the first video, you're gonna wanna see a show because they're that talented.
Yeah.
So you 2 are so amazing, and I wanna thank you
Yes.
so much for taking the time and talking with us. You're amazing,
And
amazing.
and thank you,
Thank you
Zach,
for
for
having us.
thank you, Zach, for being consistent on this. I know it took us a long time to be able to finally nail down a date or whatever, but your consistency, honestly, is what really pushed us to actually do this. And
I'm like, they
yeah,
gotta make 1 hour because 'cause you're
Yeah.
so good, and I've heard so many cheer. I'm like, I gotta keep trying. I gotta keep trying. So,
yeah.
all right. Thank you both for being on. I appreciate you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.